They don't want to see us win, prosper, and they'll do anything in their power to stop that. To them, we're not even considered human beings. It's time we stand together.
Peace and power, my brothers and sisters. You're tuned in to the Midnight Advocate, where legal light meets spiritual truth, and justice walks with the weary into the dawn. I'm Lucius Conway, your night watchman with a pen and a prayer, walking through the schoolhouse shadows so our kids don't get pushed out without a fight. Tonight's truth is this: too many students, especially black, brown, poor, and disabled, are being suspended, expelled, or labeled without fair process. In Michigan, discipline cannot be a trap. It has to follow the law. And tonight, we're diving deep into student rights, what they are, how to protect them, and how to respond when school discipline goes wrong. It's midnight. Let's advocate for the children. One evening, a grandmother called me with tears in her voice. Her grandson, who was an 8th grader, had gotten suspended. She said they told her he was disrespectful. No hearing, no warning, just a 2-week suspension and a threat of expulsion if it happened again. When we looked closer, there was no written notice, no discussion of alternatives, no chance for him to even explain. We showed up to that school board meeting with receipts. We had his IEP, his teacher reports. We had the law. And let me tell you, the tone changed. They reduced the suspension. They issued a written apology, and they changed their policy for other students. Brothers and sisters, school discipline isn't just about rules. It's about power. And too often, it's misused against the kids who need the support the most. But if we know the law and we walk it with boldness, we can shield our children from being pushed out before they've even begun. Hear me closely, family. In Michigan, your child has rights, even in the principal's office. Schools can't suspend or expel without due process. They can't ignore disabilities. They can't discipline in ways that discriminate. Yet too often, discipline is handed down like punishment, not guidance. And too often, it echoes bias, not justice. Tonight's advocacy word is this: do not let them write your child off without review. Do not let a principal's word become a child's future. Push back, push paperwork, push for policy. Because every school record should be a roadmap to growth, not a graveyard of potential. In our Midnight Law Brief, our topic is Michigan school discipline and student rights. 3 legal protections every parent should follow. First, every suspension or expulsion must follow procedure. Michigan law requires written notice and a chance to respond before any suspension or expulsion. Long-term suspensions, which are more than 10 days, and expulsions require a formal hearing under Michigan law. Students cannot be removed just because they're quote-unquote difficult. Reasons must be documented and justified. There is a 7-factor analysis Michigan law requires this 7-factor analysis before suspending or expelling. All schools in Michigan, charter, public, private, must consider the student's age, the student's disciplinary history, the student's disability status, the seriousness of the violation, whether the student's behavior threatened safety, whether the student's behavior was a pattern, whether restorative practices were used or considered. If these aren't discussed, that discipline may be unlawful. Number 3, students with disabilities have extra protections. If your child has an IEP or a 504 plan, schools must consider whether behavior was related to their disability. Any change in placement, like suspensions over 10 days, requires a manifestation determination review. Of course, there's a slide coming up with a tiny URL where you'll find this information documented for your printing and keeping. If you've got children or grandchildren or nephews or nieces, listen, in the Black community, we're all responsible. I don't care what anybody tells you. We're all responsible for our children. Key phrases to use when you talk to a principal at a school. You're going to say, I would like a copy of the discipline policy and the 7-factor analysis you did on my child before you decided to suspend or expel him. This decision appears to violate my child's rights under state law. You're going to use that phrase. It's going to scare them snotless. We are requesting a hearing and support services, not just punishment. Some other supportive resources you might look to is the Michigan Alliance for Families. You can find them online, Michigan Alliance for Families. The Student Advocacy Center of Michigan, the Student Advocacy Center for Michigan. You can also find them online. You can contact the American Civil Liberties Union of Michigan as well. As I said on the upcoming slide, you're going to find the tiny URL that's going to also lead you to those resources as well as others, to include some of the phrases I just gave you to advocate for our children. Brothers and sisters, we must not let a suspension become a sentence. Know your rights. Our spiritual food tonight comes from Proverbs chapter 22, verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. God didn't give us our children for them to be pushed aside by systems too quick to punish and too slow to understand. Our kids carry promise, and when that promise is challenged by unfair discipline, we are called to stand in the gap. Speaking up for our children is sacred work, spiritual work, God's work. Correcting injustice in the classroom is indeed a spiritual act, or an act of spiritual warfare. Writing the right letter, asking the hard question, demanding fair treatment, that's how we train up the system to do better. Our children are not problems to be managed. They are futures to be protected. If tonight's word brought a child to your mind, a son or daughter, a nephew, a niece, a granddaughter or grandson, a student you once taught, then this is your sign. Learn their rights, ask for the policies, demand the paperwork, Go to the tiny URL on this slide. Connect with the rights and resources under Michigan law that all schools in this state must follow. Don't wait until the damage is done. Let's intervene early. Let's advocate fiercely. And let's file our paperwork boldly. Because no child's light should be dimmed by a system that forgot their worth. Let's lift up the babies and let's pray them through and pray us out tonight. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May He bless your children's paths and your voice in their defense. May the Lord make His face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May grace guide your advocacy and wisdom inform your fight. May the Lord lift up His countenance upon you and give you peace. Peace that comes from knowing you stood firm, spoke up, and covered your child with truth, law, and love. Rest easy, my brothers and my sisters. We rise by midnight, and this is the Midnight Advocate.